All right, good afternoon. Sorry, there's a copier now printing. I will call this meeting to order. Roll call. Council at Large Cummins.
Here.
Caution. Here. Ward number 1 Hembry.
Here.
Ward number 2 Helm.
Here.
And Ward number 3 McNeil.
Here.
All right, so if there are no changes to the agenda, I'd like a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
McNeil with the first.
Second.
And Hembry with the second.
Hembry,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Caution,
Yes.
Helm,
Yes.
Cummins. Yes.
All right. Seeing that there is no one else here for the communications, I'll go ahead and close that portion of the meeting and move on down to the new business, which is discussion of possible action concerning a grant application for downtown housing for a building at 424 Cedar Street. Linda?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for allowing me to do this meeting. It's a little bit of a time crunch, and so I want to explain what's going on. So in the state's history, this is the first time they have ever done a downtown housing grant. And they actually are pushing for communities to apply for this grant because there's $20 million in this particular pot. And one thing I think what was mentioned to me by Jim Thompson was if this is a program that will continue, Governor Reynolds then maybe will issue that more money can go back into this, but there is absolutely no guarantee that this program is going to continue. And that's why Iowa Economic Development is trying to really get this pushed through. So when I had gone to Strawberry Point, I had learned about this project, and one of the buildings downtown that is in dire need, that has really good bones, is the Rhinos building. And so I went in and I looked at this building because knowing the grant, for 9 units or less, we could get up to $100,000 to $300,000 to fix the second floor for 2 apartments. And that's a substantial amount of money, especially if this is not going to happen, ever again. So I had Mark Adams, who right now is doing the Hardacre. I had him come over really quick to see, what a projected cost, because right now I just need sketches and estimates on what it would cost, because I showed you some of the pictures. I have many, many pictures, and if you're interested in looking at more pictures, I have more. The Hardacre apartments are over $400,000 to get those done, and he projected that is what the cost would be, if not closer to $500,000. But everything depends on what really is going on within that building. But again, the bones are very good. So the next step was we had to show if you decide that you want me to move forward with this grant, which is due January 31st. So it is a very closed window with when we have to get this done, and a lot of work goes into a grant. So again, January 31st. And so what would happen is the state wants to show commitment. The roof needs to be done. Well, I actually was pleasantly surprised by what came back from the roof contractors. I got 2 estimates that were included in your packet, and you saw that it was DC Taylor. They were at $29,520, and then West Branch Roofing was a little over $35,000. What the state wants to see is if the city is really committed to saving a building downtown, the commitment first would be the roof. The roof would have to be replaced. That shows commitment. The second and third part of this is there has to be, for this downtown housing grant, there has to be a 25% match. And so with the roof, and then, and Miss Melissa can talk more about the TIF money, because that's not my area of expertise. So if we could get TIF money, and we're going to talk about second floor first, for $100,000, that would meet the match, and the state would see that we are serious about saving this building. So the next part then would be the Community Catalyst Grant for the first floor. When I was at the meeting at Strawberry Point, they had talked, and I'm going to use their term, it's called layering. And it would be layering these two particular grants, no guarantee, obviously, that we would get either one, but because of the commitment that the city would be showing to save this building, we would also have to have, it's not required, but it is highly suggested that you have a commitment for the base, or for the first floor, excuse me, of $100,000 grant that we would go after, but the commitment from the city would be $50,000. And it's kind of like what we did with the Hardacre. The city committed $200,000 to try to create that building, or to get that building where it needs to be, and that showed the commitment. Because if you remember, the first time we applied for the Catalyst grant with the Hardacre, we did not get that grant because there was no commitment shown. Second time, when the roof was done and masonry work done on the front of the building, that's when we got the grant. And so what happens then is we have to have investors on the side, because the city does not want to own this building. We would want investors to come in. And we do have 3 individuals in our community that are interested in then purchasing the building at the cost of, and it would, everything has to be worked out, but probably at the cost of what the roof was to purchase the building. And I can tell you who those investors are. They are Darren Miller, they are Todd Miller, and they are Stuart Clark. One thing that I would like to say is, if you remember the Hardacre, or excuse me, if you remember the hotel, before that was renovated, there were 21 broken windows. Those were all fixed. Now there is the bar, there is the barber shop, there is the coffee shop, and there are 2 apartments upstairs, which is creating a tax revenue for the city. So that's why I'm very thankful that our council has been so proactive, because you see the amount of drip, tip, trip, and also loans that we are doing. And that has never happened before, that we are processing so many of those loans. And that is showing that our owners of these buildings are taking in investment in what they're trying to do, and our community. So what I need, first of all, this is pretty simple. If you want me to move forward with these grants, I am, but we have to show commitment. If you say we can't, then I will stop it. One thing I don't ever want to happen is, I don't want such a big grant not to be brought to your attention. My job is to make sure that I am building a community. And if we got the $300,000 for the second floor on the Rhinos building, and let's say we got the $100,000 on the bottom from the state, that would be $400,000 that the state also feels is worth saving this building. They've already given us $200,000 for the Hardacre. We were the first building in the state of Iowa that received 2 Catalyst grants for the same building for that Hardacre. So that would be a total, if we got the $400,000 for Rhinos, and already the $200,000 from the Hardacre, that the state would invest $600,000 in our community. And you know, to me, I just can't not bring this opportunity to the council and to our mayor, I just want you to be aware of how big this really is. So a part of this also, there are many moving pieces to this. There are many moving pieces and not much time. But I did have Tim, I can't think of his last name real quick. I'm sorry about that. He came today. He's affiliate with ECIA. And what they do is they do testing, because we got to look out now for mold, asbestos, of course, and then also lead-based paint in that building. I had someone here yesterday doing the same thing so I can get some estimates. These tests will have to go to the EPA. And then, you know, we have to follow guidelines that way. But we can also go after what is called a brownfield grant to help with that cleanup. I already know there's asbestos in that building. I already know there's lead paint in that building. I can see that. And I already know there's mold in the paint because there's water there. So what do? Well, one good thing is Todd Philpott had talked to Brian and I several months ago, and he pretty much told us at that time nothing is written down, that he wants to walk away from the building, that he already knows how much money it's going to cost to restore that building. Not at the level that we do. I think his restoration of a building would be totally different than our restoration, because we have to do the restoration correctly. And so he said that he would walk away. At that time, he said the city could buy the building for $1. That is not written anywhere yet, and we would have to have the city attorney write up a purchase agreement. And that has to be done by January 31st before the downtown upper housing grant can be sent. That has to be done. And then in the wings, we have the investors that are interested in purchasing this building. That agreement also would have to be drawn up, that the city understands that these investors are interested in purchasing the building for the cost of the roof. And so there are many moving pieces in this that need to be worked out, but I can't actually put this puzzle together until I have the authorization from you, the council, if you want to move forward on this building. One thing that I think is really good is this actually is excellent for the public and private partnership, a partnership with a group of investors. And it shows our community, I believe, that our downtown is worth getting fixed. There are other buildings downtown that need help too. And part of Catalyst grants is you do one building and then you go to the next, and then you come back to the state again with another building. It's kind of like dominoes going down, that you're really trying to restore your downtown in these old buildings. So I hope I haven't missed any important points. I guess now is some time to ask me some questions, and I will do my best to answer them.
Linda, just to make sure, any motion to pass either one of these items is not earmarking money yet.
No, we're not. I just, right now, I have to show commitment. We actually can back out of grants at any time. And what happens is you don't take the money at the end. And I don't want that to happen, but yes, you are correct. What you would be doing is kind of twofold. You would be giving me the authorization to get these grants going and work with ECIA to get them submitted. But I don't want to step out of line. So part of the grants, we have to show commitment. And so the commitment you have to tell me is the commitment that for the downtown upper story, for the second floor of Rhinos, are we committing to a roof and $100,000? Because that gets put in the grant. And downstairs, first floor, are we committing to $50,000 to get that $100,000 from the state? We do not have to take it. It's just showing commitment. It's showing commitment. But if for some reason these puzzle pieces that are thrown all over the room right now, and I just tried to pick them up and put them together, if they don't get put together well, for instance, Todd Philpott, if he all of a sudden says, nope, not going to sign a purchase agreement with the city, that does it. That does it. We don't move forward because we can't. It's not our building. We're not going to move forward. So you are correct, Mr. Mayor, that we can say no. You just are giving me the authority to get these grants written, and then what is going to be the city's commitment? That's what I'm asking.
And there is no cost for a grant writer?
Yeah, there is a cost for a grant writer. And now Melissa can add to this. You, as a council, at one time allocated $10,000 for grant writing, and we go into that pot to get that money.
And is there a plan if the city just gets stuck with the building?
Well, what we would do then is we probably try to look to find another group. You know, the building, I guess you as a council have to decide if this building is worth saving.
I'm all for it.
Worst case scenario, we get the building and we fix the roof, and at least it prolongs
Yeah.
the deterioration and it buys time, because that's a way big building on a corner to have to be torn down.
The bones of this building are very nice. You know, and two at a time, I can't take three of you, but if you want to go inside this building for yourself to see it, it's grand. You know, in its day, it was a beautiful building, and there's still a lot of beauty there, but because of the owner or owners, they have allowed this grand building to deteriorate, and it's really sad, but it still is a grand building. And I'm happy anytime to take anybody in that building.
Cummins?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, one thing I wanted to touch on too regarding the TIF is if council does want to proceed forward with that as the commitment, we would have to update our urban renewal plan like we did in 2018 with the Hardacre. I've already started that conversation with Maggie. We have a phone call tomorrow to talk more about that, and the timeline would be fast with her as well to try to get this all expedited. So that would be the process for that, though, if that's how the council wants to proceed.
And I think too about the additional revenue that this can for taxation, you know, with the apartments. They would not be apartments that are going to be $500. They're going to be more expensive apartments. And they're going to be nice size apartments. It's big up there. I do not know the square footage. I've been going to get that, and honestly, I haven't had time. I looked on the assessor site and I didn't see it. I don't know if Jason has something that we can measure, you know, the square footage. I don't know, but I can count it off, and I suppose I can bring up a tape measure, but I don't know if there's a simpler way to do it.
So going back, Cummins, was that a motion when you said you were all for it?
That's exactly right.
All right, then Cummins with the first.
Second.
Sorry, who was that?
Ron?
And Hembry with the second.
McNeil,
Yes.
Bastian,
Yes.
Helm,
Yeah.
Cummins,
Yes.
Hembry,
Yes.
All right, and on to the second agenda item, which is, oh, I lost it.
That's okay. It
Yes,
is the
it's the,
community catalyst. So
yes,
yeah.
and you kind of went over that.
Mhm.
Did you have anything more to add for that?
No. Mm-mm.
All right, is there anybody that wants to make a motion to pass this one as well?
So
Motion.
move.
Cummins with first and McNeil with the second.
Bastian,
Yes.
Helm,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Hembry,
Yes.
McNeil.
Yes.
Well, and I really want to take this opportunity to thank the council. Um, you know, we're doing things one big step at a time, but we are really, I think, moving forward to making this a better community than it already is, because I think we have one of the best communities around, but we're even making it better. So thank you for your confidence. I appreciate that. We're working really hard at this end to really get this to move forward, and I really appreciate your time, especially another special council meeting this week.
Yes. So that moves us down to adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Cummins with first. And Helm with the second.
Helm,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Hembry,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Bastian.
Yes. All right, then we are adjourned. And like Linda said, I appreciate everybody getting on today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.